that I'd like to bring to your honor's attention is number 2, surrendering all passports and travel documents. Again, I don't see a scenario where Mr. Edwards is a flight risk in any situation. He doesn't have any plans to travel, obviously, because of the coronavirus, and we don't see that in the foreseeable future. But he had hoped, prior to the coronavirus, for example, to take a trip with his daughter and a wife for his daughter's 18th birthday, and that's been placed on hold. The birthday was last month, I believe. But should Mr. Edwards want to travel in the future for any event, we think that's just not warranted based on these charges or on his background to require him to turn in his passport, so long as he's otherwise in compliance with pretrial and notifies them appropriately and otherwise abides by all other conditions.
All right, a couple of threshold issues I'll take care of, but then I'll ask the government's position on the others. As for the surrender of travel documents, no, I will require that. Travel is restricted. It's restricted to a few states. If there's to be any travel requiring a passport, that would require him to get clearance from pretrial services anyway. And if he does, he can ask to have his passport returned to him for that purpose. But look, nobody is zero flight risk. It's a balance. There is an incentive to flee. There's certainly a lot of disincentives to flee too. I take your point, Mr. Mindy. But nevertheless, I think that's a useful speed bump, given that we have travel restricted to a certain area anyway. There's no reason he would need to have his passport unless and until authorized to travel across the national border by pretrial services. So I'm going to keep that one.
Point of clarification, if I may.
Yeah.
In terms of your ruling, does that mean that pretrial services, upon notice to the government, can approve it without us being required to come before Your Honor for a specific order?
They will bring it to me. They do routinely. It doesn't require a court appearance, if that's what you mean. But yeah, they routinely contact with me when there's such a request. And they either say, hey, we think it's a terrible idea, or we think it's fine. And unless there's some reason not to, I will generally follow their recommendation.
Thank you, Judge. We're comfortable with that.
Okay. So there's that. Then we have the firearms question. I think, yes, that I'm sure that the thing about compliance with New Jersey state law is the usual condition that's in there on the assumption that the person is in New Jersey, because 99% of them are. And by the way, when they talk about being removed in compliance with New Jersey state law, I don't think that means that New Jersey state law requires that they be removed. I think it means that the procedures for removal shall not violate state law. That is, we don't take it out of the house and start shooting it within city limits, or waving it around, or whatever New Jersey law doesn't let you do with a firearm. That's fine. But obviously he's in Georgia, and he can't really violate New Jersey state law about firearms while in Georgia. I certainly understand that. So anyway, that's a minor T we need to cross. But the bigger question is whether to impose this condition at all. And on that, I will hear the government.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's the government's position that Mr. Edwards should surrender and not possess any firearms. He is facing a 28-count indictment with lengthy maximum penalties. That is a situation that, by its nature, carries with it high levels of stress and pressure. It is a reasonable precaution for the safety of both Mr. Edwards and others for him not to have ready access to a firearm under those circumstances.
You concede, however, that this is not a violent offense, and I take it there's no history of violence here, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
How about, I haven't actually faced this one, the constitutional argument that his counsel has made. This is a new one on me in terms of conditions of release. I understand that, of course, your rights are not the same when you're under criminal charges as they are just walking around. But talk to me a little about that.
Your Honor, it is a reasonable restriction on Mr. Edwards' Second Amendment rights given the circumstances that he now finds himself in. He has been charged by a grand jury in a 28-count indictment. It is, when necessary, often ordered by the courts that individuals facing criminal penalties as lengthy as this surrender their firearms for the safety of both the defendant and the community.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to impose this condition. However, I will give the parties a week to give me a short letter brief on this. I'm not sure what the Second Amendment ramifications are, and as I say, this is a new one on me. So I would like to have counsel's input on this. There is, in the meantime, I will hold this condition in abeyance. That is, the surrender of firearms does not have to take place unless and until I rule on that. He possesses it now. I'm sure he's possessed it for some time. I'm sure another week isn't gonna hurt anyone. And so let us. I'm imposing it, but holding it in abeyance, pending input from counsel and ruling by the court. Now, with that, just roughing it out, as I say, a lot of things are constitutional rights, including obviously your right not to be incarcerated. But in a sufficiently compelling case, we will